anything that gets a little positive in terms of moves on trade and tariffs between U.S. and China is ultimately that to me right now, the biggest risk is just China. And I think Jensen called it out, shot across the bow, Trump administration, you're essentially giving away the China business because of the H20 to Huawei. And that's the biggest risk. But Tom, it just comes down to like, it is Jensen and Nvidia's world. Everyone else is paying rent when it comes to AI.
So what was the biggest takeaway from the earnings last night? The stock's up 5-6% this morning. What's the street taking away from last night?
It was a staggering quarter in a bullish way relative to the demand. I believe right now demand's outstripping supply 8-1. You got sovereigns.
Demand's outsupplying supply 8-1.
8-1.
Oh, wow. So where does this company go? What does Nvidia do now to kind of take advantage of that demand out there?
It's when you think about autonomous robotics, physical AI, eventually Keene with a robot, in his palace.
You been talking to Mike?
Hey, look, this is the only way it's fueled is by Nvidia. So to me now, the AI revolution coming to Middle East, sovereigns, they want to be on the line.
It's on a unit basis. They're selling these things, right? Do you have a linear? I mean, I got 77% up free cash flow. But these numbers, we've never seen this.
Yep.
How do you extrapolate the unit growth into the future? Forget about price. Forget about tech boys with their fancy shoes and you going out to all the conferences you go to. On a unit basis, is it a linear extrapolation?
Look, it's unprecedented in terms of what we've seen, but to give
granted,
but if you look, it's linear. But to the point that right now, you only have 3% of enterprises in the U.S. that have actually even gone down the AI path. So when you think about the demand trajectory and where we ultimately see this playing out, I mean, you will be on a trajectory to $10 in earnings
Cincinnati,
power.
Paul Nosey Cold, Procter & Gamble. What in God's name is Wella Balsam shampoo? What are they going to do with AI?
They're going to look at marketing, penetration of customers. They're going to look at all of their data, probably 70% of it that basically they've not analyzed, and they're going to come up with 8, 10, 15 use cases for how AI agents could be deployed, which is bullish from Microsoft, bullish from Messier AI Palantir, bullish ultimately for the rest of the food chain.
And Paul, I looked at the chart yesterday. I mean, the quiet story at Q2 is the moonshot in Microsoft, maybe record highs this morning.
Yep. So Nvidia expects revenue of about $45 billion in the second fiscal quarter, despite new export restrictions costing about $8 billion. That's a headwind.
Okay, but let's just talk Apple, and this is why the stock's up. Apples to apples, Street. Let's just say April 2nd, Liberation Day didn't happen. Street's at $48 billion.
Yep.
Okay, apples to apples. It would have been 53.
Gotcha.
A $5 billion. So, Paul, that to me, it's a headwind, but that speaks apples to apples, and everyone recognizes. I mean, you're looking at something that's really been unprecedented relative to what we're seeing with Nvidia.
If I'm Nvidia, can my chip guys do a workaround to whatever the U.S. restrictions are?
Well, that's the market's basically reading through this, saying at one point you're going to have to come to the table. Part of negotiations, when you look at chips on the table, it's Nvidia, it's Apple. When you think about Trump administration coming to the table, and that's something where there could be some workaround. The $8 billion that they've given away, maybe half of that they get back.